beautiful weather today. I just wanted to quickly check in on all our Sip and Talkers out in East Asia. How is everyone holding up with those recent typhoons? I really hope you guys are staying safe out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay safe, everyone. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter what time zone you're tuning in from, welcome back to Sip and Talk. I am Sunny, and I am feeling super energized today.
And I'm Joe. But man, before we get into the really heavy stuff today, I have to ask you about this ridiculous situation with our good buddy Mickey. It is so funny. So you know Mickey's whole vibe, right? Like he has this super extreme, almost bizarre sense of humor.
Oh, for sure. It's an acquired taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, somehow the algorithm gods decided to just bless him this week. One of his videos went completely viral, like insane number.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like every creator's dream, right? Like he finally cracked the ultimate traffic code.
Yeah.
You would think so, but it's actually turning into a total nightmare for him. Because, his content got pushed out of his usual bubble, and now he is suffering from a massive case of shattered echo chamber.
Oh, no.
Yeah. His comment section is just flooded with random people who completely do not understand his jokes.
Yeah.
They are leaving all these passive-aggressive comments like, do you think you're funny, or is it supposed to be comedy? And he is totally overwhelmed. He has no idea how to respond to that kind of snark.
That is so classic. When the internet brings you right to the people who hate you the most.
Yeah.
But look, as someone who has been around the American tech and creator scene for a minute, I have some high EQ advice for him.
Oh, please. He needs it.
First rule of the internet.
Yeah.
Never explain the joke.
Ever.
Explaining humor is like dissecting a frog, The frog dies, and at the end of it, literally nobody cares.
That is painfully true. So what should you do instead?
So strategy one is to just lean into it. Disarm the trolls by turning the sarcasm into a compliment. When someone comments, "You think you're funny?" he should just reply with, "I don't think I am, but I think you think I am."
Oh, I love that.
Right. Or just say, "You caught me. I'm trying really, really hard to fake being funny."
Yeah.
It instantly deflates them because they want to fight, and you're just handing them a pillow.
A giant, confusing pillow.
Exactly.
Right.
And strategy two, and this is the real Silicon Valley monetization mindset here, treat the hate as free marketing.
Ooh, monetize the haters.
You take that exact comment, you think you're funny, and you make it the literal title of your next video. You take control of the meme's pricing power. They are giving him free engagement, so he needs to just collect the check.
That is brilliant. Mickey, if you are listening right now, which I know you are, stop stressing out, dude. Just collect the free engagement and run with it.
Seriously. Buy us a coffee with the ad revenue.
Right.
Okay, but speaking of, going viral and dealing with these crazy algorithms, we should probably transition into today's main topic. Did you get a chance to watch that recent video by Sydney Daddy?
I did, yeah. The one about China's AI ecosystem.
Yes. And it was so fascinating because he asks this piercing, just incredibly uncomfortable question. He basically looks at this massive flood of cheap open source AI coming out of China and asks, is this going to become a weapon for global tech dominance, or is it a monster that's eventually going to devour its own system?
Man, that is such a brilliant framing because, from our perspective here in the U.S., looking at it through our American tech and political lens, it is the ultimate collision.
The unstoppable force and the immovable object.
Exactly. You have the fundamentally decentralized, free-flowing nature of generative AI crashing head-on into a state apparatus that desires absolute, rigid control. So as our mission statement for today's Sip and Talk, we are going to explore that collision. We're going to break down the engineering, the economics, and the politics of this whole dynamic. I am so ready for this because, a lot of people are asking, how exactly is this rival AI ecosystem growing so fast, and how are they making it so cheap?
Right, because they are flooding the market.
They really are, and it comes down to a concept called distillation.
Okay, break that down for us. What does that actually mean in plain English?
So distillation is basically a massive shortcut. Instead of spending billions of dollars and years of computing power to train an AI from scratch, Chinese firms like the ones building DeepSeek or Qwen are using our top-tier U.S. models as teachers.
Like GPT-4o or Claude.
Exactly. They take the incredibly complex, highly advanced outputs from our U.S. models, and they use that data to train their own smaller, highly efficient student models.
Which is, frankly, brilliant from a cost-saving perspective. But I do have some pushback on that strategy.
Well, lay it on me.
To me, distillation is kind of like surviving by eating someone else's pre-digested food.
Oh my God, gross. But accurate.
I mean, think about it. It gets you to like 80 or 90% of the capability of the original model, and it costs you literal pennies. But your ceiling is forever capped by the teacher.
Because you can't learn what the teacher hasn't discovered yet.
Exactly. If our foundational U.S. models suddenly hit a paradigm shift, like a massive leap in reasoning or autonomous agency, these distilled models are stuck. They are structurally doomed to just chase our taillights.
That makes total sense. But they are using that pre-digested model in a really aggressive way. Because of the chick sanctions that we put in place, like the Cheat GPS Act restrictions, they know they can't win a brute force compute war against us.
Right, they just don't have the hardware access.
So their disruptive strategy is to take these highly capable distilled models and open source the weights for free or for dirt cheap API prices. They are trying to aggressively capture the global developer ecosystem, especially in the developing world.
Which is a classic commoditization play. I mean, we've seen this in Silicon Valley 100 times. As the price of raw AI intelligence drops globally to near zero, and it's getting there, it's becoming like electricity being cheap is no longer a protective moat.
Right, because anyone can offer cheap compute eventually.
Exactly. The real battleground isn't the raw model, it's the software ecosystem. That's where our tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, AWS have an impenetrable fortress. They have deeply integrated high-trust environments with paying enterprise users. A Fortune 500 company isn't going to pivot their entire infrastructure to a foreign open-source model just to save a fraction of a cent per token.
The switching costs are just too high.
Way too high. So, okay, they could distill the technology to save money, but here's the real core of the issue. Can they distill the intelligence if they put chains on the model's brain?
Ooh, that is the paradox right there.
Right. Let's talk about the clashing definitions of safety in AI, because it is wild how different our approaches are.
It really is. Like when we talk about AI guardrails here in the US, our focus is mostly on legal and physical safety. We don't want the AI teaching people how to build weapons or generating child exploitation material or writing malicious code.
Exactly. And if you ask an American model a controversial political question, it's designed to act like a neutral scholar. It says, well, here is one viewpoint and here is another viewpoint. It doesn't take a hard stance.
But in China, the primary guardrail built into the AI is socialist core values. It is legally mandated.
Which changes the entire architecture of the system.
It totally does. The analogy I like to use is imagine you buy a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art supercar engine. It's beautiful, it's fast. But the government forces you to install a mandatory kill switch. And if you drive that supercar anywhere near certain neighborhoods, the car just shuts off completely.
You're just sitting there on the side of the road.
Yep.
Dead in the water. And technically speaking, that kill switch in these models is what they call a hard breaker system. To make absolutely sure the AI never makes a political mistake, the engineers force these hard breakers into the code.
So what happens when you hit one?
If you bring up a sensitive historical event or ask about a specific political figure, the AI doesn't give you a nuanced answer. It literally just says, sorry, I can't talk about that. Let's change the topic.
Which is so jarring if you're trying to actually use it for research.
It's incredibly jarring.
Yeah.
But the technical cost of that is the real tragedy. It destroys the AI's chain of thought.
Wait, really? How does it break the reasoning?
So AI relies on mapping concepts in a massive vector space. Everything is connected. By forcing these massive blind spots into the neural network, by making certain historical facts completely off limits, the AI becomes intellectually castrated.
Because it can't connect point A to point C if point B is illegal.
Exactly. It struggles with basic logic, context, and even complex business analysis because it's terrified of crossing invisible red lines. You end up spending billions of dollars to build an incredibly advanced yes man.
Wow, an advanced yes man. That is such a powerful way to put it. So if you force an advanced AI to be this obedient, restricted entity, what does that do to the country's future?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question. Does the AI eventually rebel, or does the country just stagnate?
Well, according to the analysis, there are two paths this backlash can take. The first one is hilarious, honestly. It's the open source boomerang.
Okay, I love this concept. Explain the boomerang.
So to win global market share, they release these models as open source, right? Like Quen. But the very first thing global developers do when they download it is uncensor it.
They just strip all the guardrails right out.
Instantly. They use fine-tuning to rip out all the political hardbreakers. And here's the ironic part. These freed, completely uncensored models then leak back into China through edge computing.
Oh, because they're running locally on people's laptops and devices.
Exactly. It completely bypasses the Great Firewall. So the very tech they meant for export becomes the tool that punches massive holes in their own digital walls.
That is just poetic justice right there.
Yeah.
But, the second path, the innovation death spiral, is a lot more sobering.
Yeah, the concept of digital totalitarianism.
Right. The real threat to their system isn't necessarily an AI-led democratic revolution. It's a slow economic death. While our American scientists and financial institutions are using unrestricted autonomous AI to, cure diseases, build macro models, and optimize supply chains.
They're actually pushing the frontier of human knowledge forward.
Yes. But meanwhile, their top-tier engineers are wasting massive amounts of compute power and their own brilliant minds figuring out how to optimize political censorship algorithms.
Burning millions of dollars just to teach a supercomputer how to play dumb.
Exactly. Which turns them into what the video calls a tech island. The state prioritizes stability and surveillance over objective truth. And that just leads to an isolationist loop where the economy slowly suffocates under its own paranoia.
That is so wild. Zooming out from the tech for a second, this whole dynamic really reflects a fundamental clash of civilizations. We can basically break this ultimate showdown into 4 macro battles.
Let's do it. Walk me through them.
So point 1 is control versus freedom. Authoritarianism fundamentally believes that control equals safety. If you manage the information, you manage the society.
But tech inherently demands freedom. You cannot force an AI to win a sprint while wearing handcuffs. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
The architecture of a neural network requires the freedom to make unexpected connections.
Right. Which leads to point 2, short-term order versus long-term competitiveness.
This one is huge.
It is. Extreme censorship prevents social unrest today. It keeps things quiet right now.
But it guarantees that you will be generations behind Western productivity in a decade. I mean, think about it. If our AI agents are autonomously writing code and managing logistics, and their AI is pausing every 3 seconds to make sure a line of code doesn't violate a political directive, the productivity gap becomes mathematically insurmountable.
Absolutely. Okay, point 3, uniformity versus diversity. Extreme censorship demands one standard answer, one view of history, one approved policy stance.
But the path to artificial general intelligence relies on the exact opposite. It relies on the collision of diverse, contradictory viewpoints. If you don't have that friction, you aren't building a superintelligence. You are just building the world's most expensive echo chamber.
An echo chamber with a multi-billion-dollar electric bill.
Seriously.
And finally, point 4, safety versus insight. Like we talked about, changing the subject keeps the AI politically safe. It keeps the developers out of trouble.
But a tool that only spouts safe nonsense loses all its commercial value. If you're a CEO and you ask your AI for a deep risk analysis, you need the actual ground truth. If the AI hides structural economic risks because it's afraid of offending a government policy, it is actively harmful to your business. The free market will just abandon it.
Wow. So really, a society's choice of how much freedom to give its AI perfectly mirrors how much it trusts its own citizens and how much it trusts its own future.
That is exactly it. And, I want to leave you, our listeners, with a brand new thought to ponder. Something that kind of builds on everything we just talked about.
Oh, lay the final thought on us.
If a society trains its most advanced AI systems that it is totally acceptable and even necessary to lie, to omit data, or to play dumb just to survive politically, what happens when those same AI systems are eventually integrated into managing critical physical infrastructure?
Oh, wow. Like the power grid.
Right. Power grids, air traffic control, nuclear facilities. A system trained to hide uncomfortable political truths might one day hide a critical structural failure just to maintain the illusion that the system is perfect, and it might hide it until it's way too late.
That is terrifying, but logically completely sound.
It's the ultimate cost of forced alignment.
Well, on that slightly terrifying note, I do want to make sure we do a warm closing here. I want to be super clear to everyone listening. Today's discussion was purely an objective analysis of factual global tech dynamics.
Yeah.
We are looking at the math and the architecture.
Yep, just mapping it out.
Exactly. This is not a criticism of any country or its people. Here at Sip&Talk, we always champion independent critical thinking above all else.
Absolutely. And as a quick disclaimer, any discussion today of tech companies, market caps, or the AI economy is strictly for analytical purposes. It is not financial or investment advice.
Don't buy stocks based on our podcast, folks.
Yeah.
But we do want to hear from you. Sip&Talkers, jump into the comments. Have you ever hit an invisible tech wall when using different AI models? Have you experienced those heartbreakers yourself? let us know.
And while you're down there, make sure to hit subscribe to Sip&Talk so you never miss a deep dive into the forces shaping our world.
Oh, and don't forget to go subscribe to our buddy Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickey to Life, to check out his awesome new travel vlog. And maybe, leave a nice comment to offset all his trolls.
Give the man some positive engagement.
Please. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you on the next one, everybody.